Gary specifically, now that you've got eyes on him in person, what intrigues you most about his skill set?
No, I mean, you like read about a guy, right? And you're in the draft process, and then all that stuff. But when he gets him in front of you, and you're like, whoa, this dude's he's a big, thick dude. I mean, he's an impressive guy. But even more impressed with like his mentality, how he came in here. Like he came in here with a purpose, and to be here for like a week basically. And grab that playbook and to be as far along as he is already, very impressed with how he's approached this thing.
Coach, is it natural for the defense at this point in camp to kind of be ahead of the offense? And then how do you go about balancing that as you try and implement the system and keep guys confident as they learn?
I don't think it's necessarily that they're ahead. I think it's just, again, it's to go back to that helmet thing, man. I think a D-line has an advantage over an offensive lineman whenever when you're not wearing pads. It is what it is, why we don't run the ball as much when we're in this situation. So that part of it is all real. That part of it's real. But as far as being along, no, further along, I don't think so. I think we're both in great shape, and we're both in the middle of installing things. So sometimes each side of the ball gets kind of caught off guard because you're not necessarily preparing for everything that we're doing. You're trying to stay just true to your rules and your assignments and get guys good at knowing what their responsibility is. So then you can start attacking somebody as you get going into the scheme part of it and attacking another opponent.
Luke, you talked about seeing guys in film and seeing them in person. What are your impressions from Darnell Gaines? What do you think about his ability to go up and get the ball?
Yeah, no, Darnell's an impressive guy. I love his approach. I love his mindset. I love the way he attacks the classroom, and then on the field, I think he's all business, and he does a good job of leading those guys. He's not like an outspoken guy by any means, but he does a great job of leading by example, and then having those really good conversations on the side with guys and bringing them along. So, yeah, he's someone that we're definitely going to be counting on this year for sure.
In terms of his ability on the field, for his first 2 years, he's kind of been in that secondary role, whereas Allen Robinson was the feature guy, and he's now the feature guy. Well, what do you see from him that gives you confidence that he'll be able to continue ascending and step into that main?
Yeah, being within the division, I got to see him a lot, right? And so you watch a lot of film with a guy, and I've always been impressed with him. And then you've kind of got to see him get better each year. And he's capable of doing a lot of different things. I think that's what's so cool about him. I think he's a guy who can line up outside and beat someone in a one-on-one. He can run by you because he's fast enough, and he can play in the slot and do a bunch of those things. And then he has a high football IQ too. So I think all those things make him, a really special guy and what we want to do.
With this being Justin's second camp and his first as the established starting quarterback, did you sense a ownership or a sense of purpose in him that you want of a starting quarterback?
Oh yeah, I mean there's zero. That's what's so special about him. Forget all the athletic part. The guy, the way he attacks every single day and his approach, and lead by example, and doesn't ask anybody to do anything he doesn't expect of himself. I mean, that guy's he's a natural born leader type of guy. So we're lucky to have a guy like that leading this thing.
Do the drops concern you? It seems like, I don't know, like everybody has.
Do the what? I'm sorry. Oh.
Receiver drops. Is that concerning to you at this point, or is it just too early?
No, yeah, I'm not. We're just getting started, right? We're just getting back at this thing. For me, it's the lack of execution that I'm focused on right now. That's what pisses me off more than anything is right now is getting that stuff taken care of and getting that out of there, and guys knowing what the heck to do, so then we can talk about stuff like that as you get going.
Do you believe you have adequate answers on the offensive line where you guys are kind of turning that thing over?
Yeah, I think they've done a great job of creating more competition too for the room, which is awesome because that's gonna, just like the receiver room that you talked about too. I think that room is gonna have a ton of competition to figure out what the heck's best for us, which five are best, and so all the things those guys have done to add to the more pieces to the room have been great, and I'm looking forward. And again, I know I said this in the spring, but it's just really hard to play football at that position without pads. And so when those pads get on and we get to see, what a guy's made of then, and does he, and what happens when the things start moving for him, that'll be the real test. So I'm excited to see all those guys get to work. But I'm glad we were able to add more pieces, and we got two vets that you talk about, just true pros that we added to the room. I think that whether they are part of that five or not, they've added a ton to that room already.
Do you have a target when you might want that five to kind of be settled? Do you have a target, like date in mind when you might want that to be settled?
Oh man, this is a process for sure. This thing is, I'm one day at a time and making sure that we're taking another step every single day. So I'm not ready to look that far out ahead. We got a lot of work to do over these next 2 weeks and making sure that we figure out what we're good at, who we are, and what kind of mindset and mentality that we want to play with every single play. I just tell the guys in the room the other day, and when we put the Chicago Bear film on, they better notice like something from us. And we talk about who we want to be, and then that's what's most important right now to me.
With the lack of execution today, with false starts, I think just be a little more specific about.
Yeah, no, so Coach created really good situations for us. So what we've done situational football, but we've kind of isolated those situations. What Coach did a great job today was putting them in to like in the middle of the practice, spontaneous, so the guys didn't have a chance to prepare, if you will. And so those were great reps. You saw we jumped twice, then we came back and did it a third time, and we executed it really well. So that's something that we talked about as a staff that we want to do more of. Instead of just putting it at the end of practice and saying, hey, this is how we do it, let's actually put it in the middle of the practice and let these guys react to it. So that's exactly why we did that, so we can make sure that these guys can stay poised and not let that chaos that happens when you're trying to beat a replay, or was it a catch, not a catch, and we're trying to run, and then now the defense makes a call on the front to try to get you to jump, and then that's what we did. We did jump.
We saw Lucas Patrick leave practice early today. Did you see what happened?
I have no idea. I just saw them leave, and I don't even know what he injured or anything like that, so I don't know.
With this roster, your scheme is being counted on to make players better than people think and make this offense better than it's been. I know it's early, but at this stage, how confident are you that will actually happen?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the system's not meant to make somebody better than what they are. I think the system is meant to keep a defense honest in the similarity in the things in the way that you attack them. So they're seeing same things, but they're getting different things at them. And then it's our job as coaches to try to get the guys in position so that they can be the best that they can be. And so that's what we're in the middle of figuring out. Like I said, I think we have a pretty good handle on the guys, but we haven't played football yet. So when we start playing real football, then I think all those answers start happening a little bit more true, and what we can or what we need to stay away from or what we need to work on.
What kind of player are you getting? How tough it is to, as you've alluded to a few times, like really execute the running game without pads on. Do you feel like a little bit of a time crunch once the pads do go on?
No. I think, like I said, right now, as you're in your install phase still, we've already done these installs already. Right now, we're in like the second time we get to do it. So right now, we're working on the execution and what we're seeing and making sure we're making the right calls and we're going to the right people. We're working on our techniques, and then once you hit the pads and you start getting those reps live, that's when you start seeing, okay, the actual execution. Can the guy actually perform that task you're asking him to do? So yes. It's about the pads in my mind, pass pro and in the run game for those guys up front.
What kind of player are you getting in Riley Reef, and how much of a boost can he straight up bring, not only on the field, but also in the room with some of the young guys?
No, like I said, he's been here, I don't even know how many days he's been here, like 4 days. And just, the poise of a vet, the experiences that not only him, but he can pass on to the other guys. I mean, we're doing walk through blitz prep stuff, and we have some of those young guys in situations, and then as soon as that situation's over, Riley's walking up to them and just giving them a nice tip about, hey, this is when I see this is where my mindset goes, this is where my feet go, this is where my hands go. So, Riley, that veteran leadership is critical on any team, and we're real happy to have him for sure.
You've gotten more familiar with Cole Kmet. What are the things within his game that excite you that matched very well with what you want to do offensively?
Yeah, I think it's just his flexibility, man, and his explosiveness. I mean, you've seen him make a couple plays today that show his capabilities in the pass game, and then in the run game, I've been very impressed with how he's attacked the run game and how physical he's been from spring and in these last couple of days. So I'm excited to see he can do a lot of different things. So I think that's, like I said, the thing that I like about football players more than anything is the guys that can do a lot of different things. And that makes them more valuable to the offense, and it makes it more dangerous to the defense. So, and Cole, I think, is one of those guys that has that flexibility.
What can he be for you down in the red zone?
Yeah, I mean, he could be a lot for us, right? We're going to – anybody that's on the field, we're going to ask him to do everything. They're going to have to block. They're going to have to catch, right? So he can do both of those really well. So when we get in the red zone, he's going to be somebody that we're going to lean on for sure.
You mentioned
Equanimous. What kind of untapped potential did you see from your time with him in Green Bay to want to have him here?
I can't remember if I mentioned this story last spring in the springtime or not, but he, the way that his training camp went last year, where he didn't make the team right away, and a couple games into the season he did. I mean, I just saw a transformation of a guy just turn into a pro, and his mentality and the toughness and the way he attacked every day. I mean, I was just super impressed with how he handled that, like, adversity. I mean, that's what made me really. I mean, I always liked EQ and thought he was a good player, and then I saw him go through that adversity, and the way he handled all that stuff. That made. I mean, that's what these guys are all leaning on, and his that leadership and that experience that he went through. That's super for us. That's big. We're going to lean on that.
What do you think that's gonna do for the wide receiver room? Because like him, you've got Harry and other guys who haven't been able to stick on rosters, and now they've got this second chance. Like, how do you feel like that's going to like gear the competition for those final spots?
Yeah, I think all those guys that you mentioned, right, that we got from other places, I wouldn't necessarily say they didn't stick. I think they were in places where they had elite guys at number one or something, that they were next to, and didn't have the opportunity to prove it. And I think that's what was so intriguing to them to come here and have this opportunity to play with Justin, and then to play in the system and have a chance to show what they can do. So I think all that stuff is what's so exciting for them, and then the opportunity to go prove what they can do.